let's talk a little bit about some of your in-walls.
Sure. This would be our, what I would call the peanut butter and jelly, or just the standard TDG audio speaker. It's the NFC-61. It's 6.5-inch two-way. And this actually, looking at this quote standard speaker, gives me an opportunity to talk about a lot of the things that make us unique in a speaker. Because in a lot of markets, people see maybe brands they're familiar with, or they think there's just a lot of similarity in speakers from one to the other. And what I like to say is, just because two automobiles have four wheels and a steering wheel, or four tires and a steering wheel, it doesn't make them the same.
Right.
Speakers, a lot of the functional things may look different, but we do a lot of unique things. Besides just the general things in production control and quality and things like that, and both on the front and the back of the unit. This one, some of those things we do have adjustable bass and treble controls on the front of the unit. The reason that's important is when you're installing a speaker, sometimes you don't have, you got to make some compromises. Sometimes you got one, it's really next to all this glassy surface or something like that. You need to pull down the highs a little bit because of reflectivity, or you need to increase the bass a little bit because it's out into a room space more, not in against a wall as much. So those separate bass and treble controls allow those adjustments. Also, a thing that's unique on our speakers is, to get that magnetic grill, what we do is, and to do it best we can, all of these magnets that you see here that attach to this steel grill, they are, ever so slightly, they're a millimeter high above the surface, and there's a lot of them. And the reason is, with most speakers that have a grill like this, and you put it on, and if you were to run what's called a sweep, I had an amplifier and I ran through this, and I started in the low frequencies and I ran it to the highest frequencies, and it would go, everything has a resonance frequency. Everything at some point is going to start to vibrate. And that's the same case in ceiling speakers. And what will happen in almost all the speakers we've looked at and tested, at some point the grill will rattle. You don't hear that normally because it's transient. It happens so quick that people don't normally hear that grill rattling in their in-ceiling speaker. But Alex and I are audio geeks, and we're more engineer than marketing guys, and it bugged us. So one of the things that we did to solve that problem and make it not happen on our product like it happens in a lot of other products is we put more magnets and we place them a bit above the surface, so that when you have our grill on our speaker, it's not going to do that. In this reason, so that's one of the small differences.
Well, I noticed too that it also has kind of this felt cloth, so
scrim cloth.
That's also going to help with any vibration as well.
And then we have some grill products that are fully marine rated, but this particular product, just out of the box, is actually quite rust and moisture resistant, the entire thing. One of the things that we do is unique that no one else does. Once again, it costs us more money. Not everyone sees it, but we do it because we want this product to last a lifetime. Is we actually zinc coat our grills and then we powder coat them. Most people just go ahead and they powder coat them, and they save the money that we spend to do that in processing. And that makes them more resistant. The adhesives and things we use also make that possible. And then, that's one thing. Some others is just simple stuff about mounting. When they're installed, you can hold on to this tweeter bridge to make it easy to install.
Now, I will tell you from experience, I've put in many of these, and that feature alone, I love it. Just having a handle to be able to put the speaker up and then take your screwdriver and hold it, that's a great feature.
On the back of the unit, some of the other things, you can't really see it from here, but our crossover networks, which are placed, they're behind this piece of plastic, which is another advantage because this plastic actually serves to keep the debris, insulation, things like that may come into contact with the woofer from falling in and causing you problems. Once again, it's a permanent part of the home. Right. It's going to be there a long time. We don't want problems. So that prevents that, debris from falling. And then under there is a crossover network, which we actually resin epoxy coat, just like you would like an outdoor camera or equipment or something like that, to make it moisture resistant. And then also the contact points, you'll see they're insulated and very well done. The terminals are gold plated. They're a strong spring force so that wire doesn't get pulled out of it easily. So those are some other small things that,
like the dog ears.
Yeah, the dog ears. This is one interesting thing. Not everyone in the world and in America has a standard drywall installation, right? So sometimes there's situations where it might be someone has a surface of wood, or they have double drywall, or in the U.S. a lot of these areas, like in New England, where construction that's old plaster and lath, where you have a lot of thickness. A standard, what this is a dog. Basically, when it's screwed, this is going to securely hold it in place into the wall or the ceiling. What we do is we have this removable dog leg, which if it's very thick, you actually just pull this off,
right?
And now it will accommodate that extra drywall thickness.
Well, and I do, just from experience, I do in my home right above us here. I'll put a picture up. I do have a double drywall, and being able to take that off there, because it made it much handier, I tell you.
People will, an old installer's trick is they turn them up backwards or they cut them, and that just
right.
It works, but not as elegantly. And then also the dog legs themselves, also in that thing of things you may not see, but especially what the installers appreciate, is we actually pre-thread these so that each screw is actually pulled into the dog and then out of the dog, so that when they go to install, they actually seamlessly are, this dog seamlessly and effortlessly clamps down.
Right.
It won't get caught somehow.
Well, and these speakers also come with a template, so you can cut an absolutely perfect size hole. And then, if you've never installed an in-wall or in-ceiling speaker before, these just kind of are off to the side here. You put them in the hole, and then as soon as you try to turn the screw to tighten them, the dog ears come out, and then they clamp right against the back of the sheet wall. So very, very cool design. All right, and I'm not sure what. Is this the smaller brother? Or
this is actually a unique speaker called the NFC-61 STT.
Okay.
And in our line, we have these products called STTs, and those are stereo tweeter technology, it stands for. So,
I mean, it looks almost
this
exactly
looks
the same.
Almost identical, but actually the difference is, as they say, is behind the scenes. So, this is actually two speakers in one.
Okay.
So there's a lot of places like closets, hallways, where you want both channels of audio. You don't want to just be stuck with a left track or a right track, right, in a closet. The closet, maybe you don't need stereo. It's not always that you're going to be listening for stereo.
Put speakers in closets.
They do that. Laundry rooms, they want to listen. Or often this is actually good in hallways too. This particular one, and we have a similar application for outdoor speakers. What this does, it gives you the ability to put a left and a right signal into one speaker and hear both channels out of this one speaker. So when you do have those small installation, it allows you to get all the content in one place. And what all this stuff is back here that makes it possible is it's crossovers for each channel, and then it has also, we still have individual bass and treble switches like we do on everything else still, to make that possible. And the unique thing though is, you're saying, well, Jeff, I only see one woofer and one tweeter. How can it be two channels? There's something called dual voice coils.
Right.
So each signal that the speaker receives actually goes into a voice coil, and that's part of the mechanics of the motor that makes that operate. The woofer itself has two voice coils, and then unique to us is that the tweeter also has two voice coils. You'll see some implementations of this design, and they'll have a tweeter side by side. Acoustically, not a good idea, because those actually cause a distortion as both tweeters are playing the same or similar content. But with ours, we sum it within the voice coil, within the tweeter, so it's acoustically superior. to a conventional stereo and one tweeter. So.
And these tweeter pivot, right?
They do pivot, like
Yeah.
all our, most of our in-ceiling product does pivot to help direct those high frequencies to the listening area.
Okay, because the other speaker we looked at has a pivoting tweeter as
That's
well.
right. Thanks for pointing that out.
And then also, I just wanted to mention too that I'm not sure if this comes in the 3 different options or just the one.
This particular model only comes in this one.
Okay, the first speaker we just looked at comes in 3 different options. So you have your 61 series. I mean, you have your 81. You got different size drivers, but you also have different materials.
Right.
And what we're looking at here is the, I guess you would call
The
it
one series.
the one
Yeah,
series.
basically anything that you see a 1 on in our product line is a polypropylene woofer and a soft dome tweeter. Anything that's a 2 is a aluminum woofer with an aluminum tweeter, and anything that's a 3 is a Kevlar woofer with a titanium tweeter.
Right.
And what that allows you to do is, each one, it's not just the materials, there's differences in power handling and things like that as you step up within the line.
Okay.
And as you look in those series, some are more practical for certain installations or applications than others. But the other nice thing is it allows you to, if you wanted to match in-wall, in-ceiling, or different size speakers within the home or something like that, those different series allow you to do that.
TDG Audio, engineering excellence.